step forward to the second chair. Nice, right there. Stop, back up. Yeah. Yeah, so that's a cutoff. And if you, I noticed that some people move around. If you happen to move, I'll follow you, but I try not to do it too much.
Yeah, I get you.
All right. So I'm gonna do your bio, your brief intro, and then we'll let you do your thing. Ask you a few questions and get you out of here.
What's up? Okay.
Did you and Zoe work with Sheila at the same time?
No. No. I don't remember her. But she could have been before me. You know, she's older than me, so cause I know her.
Yeah,
Like,
she's mid liberties, right?
Yeah, she's
I
like-
said it's on 26.
Exactly.
No, I
She's
know
had a
her.
birthday.
Yeah. What'd you say? Oh, you had a birthday.
She's had a birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
27. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is nothing to us. You half our age.
It's yeah, so I mean, you know, Congressman was doing stuff for a while, so I don't know.
Yeah. It's been around for a minute for sure.
Well,
But
here you talked about a lot about working with the Congresswoman.
Really?
So,
Yeah, and I've noticed that a lot of people, they have that as one of their bullet points. Everyone has pictures with Sylvester and Congresswoman. I'm not sure if everybody worked with her or not, because she has been around for a minute. And I just wonder, if you worked for her, then what did you actually do there?
yeah, that's
They
it.
want that.
Of course, yeah, that name recognition, that connection, yeah.
You know how things go.
You know how things go, brother, for sure, for sure. All right, let me check this one thing and then we can roll into it.
This heat is getting crazy.
Yeah, man.
The humidity is worse.
It's still Houston. I feel about the house at 7:30 and it's already humid. Like, Jesus.
I do this every year.
Yeah,
I'd be like, I feel like it's hotter than the last year.
right,
You
like it's
know?
going up.
It's almost like I forget, like when the winter comes and everything. I'm like, ooh, geez.
Yeah, yes, sir.
change.
You're right. 100%
Yeah,
right.
it's real.
It is.
It's real,
You
yes,
can
sir.
feel it. Cause I'm like, when I was a little kid and I was playing, you know, baseball, I don't remember it being this hot.
What? Probably because it wasn't.
That's right.
That's probably why.
That's right.
That's probably why.
Yeah,
So you didn't mind playing outside.
right. I went out yesterday, what was that, 2 days? No, we had some kind of event outside. And man, I was sweating so much. I was
You have your jacket on?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, oh,
And Ms. Fondo, not only did we not mind playing outside when we were younger, you didn't have a choice because your parents didn't get out of the house.
Get outside.
All right, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and get started.
see, my family's from Louisiana, so you
What part?
lecture.
Okay, okay,
Appaloosa.
okay. And Obeliscus, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So he,
Is it like Texas heat there?
it's a different kind of heat.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I think it's more mild. They don't think so, but I think you know what I'm saying? I think it's a little bit more mild.
Yes,
Here or there?
there.
There. It's mild
Okay,
there.
okay, yeah.
I don't think anything is as bad as here. Like personally, like you got the Vegases, like the Arizonas, but that's like dry.
It's
heat.
dry heat, right?
And I feel like I can deal with that
Yeah.
better than
The
sweat.
this humid heat, yeah.
That's what kills me. It's
Yeah.
like the sweat.
And it starts early. It
Yes.
starts early, yeah, yeah. I'm from South Carolina, so I most certainly am used to the heat. And I play football too, so having practice in 2 days in this kind of heat, yeah, yeah. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you guys for being here Thursday morning breakfast. I appreciate it. As always, we're here to bridge the gap between those that are doing the good, those that want to do the good on another level, and connecting that with the community. Because if the community isn't connected to the do-gooders, then the doing good doesn't get done for those that need it most. And when it comes to elections and us voting for people that want to elevate our issues to bring solutions to them, voting matters a great deal. And we have to make sure that we are not only in tune and connected with those persons who say they want to run and represent, but we got to make sure that when they do win, We hold them accountable for what they said they were going to do on the campaign trail. And just because they won doesn't mean that we, the community, are outside the picture, because that's only the beginning of the fight.
That's right.
We still have to stay connected and organized, because Brother Isaiah is still going to need us on the ground, mobilizing and organizing, as he is in Washington doing his thing. So for us, the fight doesn't end because we voted him, he got in, and for him, the fight doesn't end. For him, it gets harder. For us, we got to make sure that we're staying connected because he still needs us. So I'm going to read this very brief overview of our brother, then we're going to turn it over and we're going to get this thing rolling. Isaiah Martin is a proud Houston native, loyal brother and son, and dedicated advocate. Isaiah's upbringing instilled in him the values of service, resilience, and a deep commitment to his community. He believes in a Democratic Party that has a spine. Well, amen, brother. We were just talking about that. And fights back against Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans as they try to tear down programs. I'm going to say as they continue to tear down programs, because they ain't trying no more.
Yeah.
That lift up the most vulnerable.
I like that.
Yes, sir. That's why over the past, amen. That's why over the past year, Isaiah traveled across the country helping elect Democrats in battleground districts and worked tirelessly for Kamala Harris's campaign for president. So on that note, we're going to turn this thing over to Brother Isaiah Martin. He's going to let us know what he plans to do for us as our next congressperson for the 18th Congressional District.
That's right.
All right, of Texas.
Well, it's good to see so many emails again tonight. You know, we really are at a defining point in our country's history.
Yes, sir.
We've got a rogue felon in the White House. We've got crazy Republicans that refuse to stand up to him. And ultimately, we see America not working. And I believe that it is now at a point in time in which we have to be bold and be very audacious about how to make this country work better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I got my start in politics, to just be honest with you, because Greg Abbott made me mad one day.
Hey,
I was
good motivation.
I mean, it's true. I was a college student at the University of Houston, and I remember trying to go cast my ballot to vote in the 2020 presidential primaries. And through that experience, we had to wait 4.5 hours to go and cast ballot, as well as pretty much everybody in Third Ward.
Yep.
And because we had to wait so long, I didn't get a chance to go and cast my ballot. And I got pretty mad about that.
Yeah.
So I got folks together, and we turned U of H's football stadium, 50,000 seat stadium, into a polling site. We took on Greg Abbott. They were all mad about it. Republicans were pissed. But we made that football stadium a polling site. We brought a 5-hour long wait time all the way down to 5 minutes.
Wow.
And that's what got my start in
Wow.
the politics.
Yeah.
It's what got me involved. It's what got me to go and work to go and fix collegiate sexual assault to bring $160,000 for survivors. And then I met Congresswoman Jackson Lee. And the Congresswoman took me underneath her wing. I started off carrying her purse, and then I worked my way up to become her senior advisor. And it was because I understood that she knew so much, had so much knowledge, that I just wanted to be around her. So anything I could do, whether that was going to events to help people get vaccinated, anything to figure out how things work, I made sure to go forward and be there because I respected that knowledge. And it is through that I worked my way up to become that senior advisor. And I began to really go forward and help her with a lot of the issues that we had in the district, as well as in Washington, D.C. Now, ultimately, in this country, what we need right now, I believe that America is too unaffordable. And I think it's unaffordable.
Unaffordable, okay.
It's completely unaffordable. I believe that we've got to do a lot more, particularly when it comes to making sure that you can have more of your own money. That means more dollars for Social Security.
Yeah.
But I think that it's insane. It does not go far enough. And we need to stop talking about just keeping it where it is. We need to be talking about how we can make it go further. I believe in making sure that we can guarantee health care for everybody in this country, because I believe it's long overdue. I believe that we should be able to go forward and bring the trades back to our schools so that when kids want to be able to go and learn something and learn a skill in high school, you want to give them the certificates and everything possible to go forward and get that done before they graduate. The other things that we have right here, we have the HISD takeover. And it's terrible. It's something that's terrorizing our kids. It's terrorizing our teachers. Everybody knows how terrible it is. We also have the fact that they're defunding our schools with the school vouchers program in Austin. So I'll be filing federal legislation. Nobody's talking about this, but I think it's long overdue to end the HISD takeover, to end the school voucher scam. And the way we can do it, it's federal dollars. It's our money that's being used right now to go be siphoned off to the richest private schools inside of our city and our state. And we have the jurisdiction over that. So I said, let's go and ban that. Let's stop it. And let's make sure that we can work with people across the country that have dealt with similar issues. Because what's also a deprivation of our voting rights. Because we voted for a school board that had a superintendent that was working for our kids,
Yeah.
got HISD to be in a better position. And now, because they removed the people that we chose, they're going off and they're doing what they are.
Yep.
So I believe in, first of all, making sure that we can go forward, we can end that, we can get our dollars back for our schools. And then when we do that, make sure that we have funding in place to put trades in schools to help kids that want to go forward and learn on that. We also have these ridiculous tariffs.
Yep.
I know you guys see that. They're making life more expensive. I'm going up there to go and axe the Trump tax, as I call it. So I'm going to put legislation to take his tariff power away because he's coming after everybody's expenses, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
That's right.
I'll also be working every single day to figure out what we can do to guarantee healthcare. I know I talked a little bit about that earlier. It's a big issue in this country. We all need to be talking about how we can all do that. I'm also supporting the idea of wiping out medical debt because I believe that it's insane that in this country, if we have the richest nation on earth, if we're spending money on who knows what, we've got folks walking around with hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical debt for an illness they didn't ask for, or an accident they didn't want. I believe that's completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm somebody who has the federal experience of knowing how Washington, D.C. works, knows how to get things done, but then also the foresight to say that we need a vision for the future. Because the same old that we've been doing is just simply not going to work in this country. Big issue that we all know and we see is the gerrymandering problem that we currently are now facing. I know we weren't talking about that last time I was here, but it's a big issue now. They were trying to change and carve up the 18. You know, they wanted to do this years ago when Congresswoman was alive, but now they're trying to go further with that even more.
Yep.
So instead of just sitting back and writing a strongly worded letter about how disappointed we are about this, I say it's time to fight back. And so I've come up with something called Operation Get Back, in which blue states go and gerrymander Republicans the same way they do us. Why is it that we're allowing them to go forward and we're playing by an imaginary set of rules that Republicans don't follow?
Ever.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You think that
Right.
Ron DeSantis is up in Florida saying like, oh, let me go give some Democrats some seats just for fairness.
Right.
You think that North Carolina is doing that?
No, sir.
You think that Mississippi is doing that?
Yeah.
No. So I say let's treat them the same way they do us
Mhm.
because we have the population advantage.
That's right.
When we do that and we force them to play by their own rules, they will never be able to win the House effectively again. That's how you force a solution to the table to ban partisan gerrymandering all across the country so we can free states like Alabama, free states like Texas, free states like Louisiana that have been suppressed because of Republican leadership, but we've got to have the audacity to take it and do something different. Because if we keep on talking about how disappointed we are year after year, that we put up this piece of legislation, it's called the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, we're going to support.
Yep.
But we put it up every year and we talk about how we want to pass it. And every single year we don't have the votes.
Yep.
Because we know that Republicans are under no incentive to pass it because they know that they benefit from a rigged system while we're tying our own hands behind our back.
Yes, sir.
I say that ends whenever I get to Congress, and I'll be working with different states to make sure that they can play their part to go forward and stop this, and we can preserve the 18th Congressional District as it is. But with any event, I look forward to continuing to be around and continuing to be open, because the other thing is, we've had a lot of response to a lot of the work that we've been doing, because we've been doing such a big communicative effort. Just last month alone, because we're really big on social media, we got 19 million views on
Wow.
all of our content.
Congratulations.
It's a
That
big
is absolutely awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But here's why. It's not just about posting to the void. Here's why it's important.
You said it's not about posting to the
Void.
void. Okay.
To the void.
All right.
Here's why it's important. We actually inspired action.
Mhm.
We were the first people to call for a congressional investigation when it comes to the Texas floods, in which the governor and everybody else, Trump, botched that whole situation up. They defunded NOAA, National Weather Service,
Yep.
FEMA, and all that stuff. We were the first person to call for an investigation. Got millions of views on that. The next day, a couple of senators started to make those calls for those investigations.
Wow.
It was us that was the first people to call for blue states to gerrymander Republicans out of their district. And now you see on the television, Gavin Newsom and a couple other governors are talking about how they're going to go forward and follow those same plans.
Awesome.
So we're doing the work right now when we get people involved, because as a result of what we've been doing, people have been calling these folks. They've been saying, what are you doing to do Isaiah's plan? How are you going to go forward and get this fixed?
That's
What are
awesome.
you going to do?
Yeah.
That's how we change this country. It is not by sitting back. It's not by posting into the void, as I like to say.
Yeah.
It's getting active and doing things now. So I'm doing the work right now. I'll do the work when I get to Congress. I can't wait to serve all of you guys.
Okay, amen, amen. I got a few questions, but I want to make sure that no one else has a question yet. No? Good?
Go ahead.
All right. So my first question is, good job, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it and I love the energy. You talked about your federal experience.
Yes.
Can you give us a bit more information about that? How much experience do you have federally that makes you feel like you're the best qualified?
Absolutely. So started off at the very lowest level in terms of carrying Congresswoman's purse.
Purse carrier.
I was a purse carrier. Yeah, I was that guy. Well, see, at the time, I was a little embarrassed, right? So I would carry it like this, right?
Yeah,
You know, I was like, I can't have nobody, you know.
I can't put it on my arm.
You know. But at the end of the day, when my arm started to hurt enough, I was like, all right, I'll just suck it up. You know,
Yeah.
it is what it is, right? But I got that experience of being able to really just follow around at the very beginning. But then after a couple of years, because I was with the Congresswoman for 4 years, she elevated me to senior advisor.
Okay.
And it was from that I got to be able to help her with legislation. I got to help her particularly on some foreign affairs issues because she was really passionate about some stuff that was going on in Ukraine and other places as well.
Okay.
So I was really helpful with her on that. Helped her a lot.
Quick question: do those things that are happening in other countries do they affect the 18th? Why would she be? They do.
They do,
Okay.
because she was a member of the OSCE, which is effectively this international body
Okay.
that basically works on that issue.
Gotcha.
So she would represent the whole country, the United States, as a member on this international board. And I would help her with that particularly. As well as we also had a lot of Ukrainians that lived inside of the district that also were affected. Yes, we did.
Okay.
So yeah. So in any event, worked there with those issues, worked there with vaccinations, did 90 straight weeks of vaccination and testing with the Congresswoman, particularly went all the way around this district, did a lot of stuff with constituents, went to a lot of funerals for veterans, went to a lot of graduations
Yeah.
for her. And then also helped her with a lot of the community funding requests, particularly helping her identify new additional areas to bring federal funding right here in the 18th Congressional District. Always went around, did that. Also did a lot of storm recovery work with her.
Okay.
Whenever a storm would come, she would always call me up, and it wouldn't matter how messed up, flooded the stuff would look.
Yeah.
I would be with her, and
Okay.
we'd be going out, we'd be surveying damage, we would be sending stuff to FEMA and other governmental agencies,
Mhm.
and then she would always figure out ways to be on the phone with people like Benny Thompson, who is, well, at the time was the chair of the Homeland Security Committee, now he's the ranking member.
Okay.
But because that was his area of jurisdiction, he could go forward and push a lot of the stuff we needed for hurricane storm recovery as well.
Okay.
So I got a lot of disaster experience as well on that.
So as it relates to your experience and what you've done, from what you've noticed about the other people who are running, what do you bring to the table per your experience that you have noticed and you know that they do not?
Federal or?
Federal,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is that I was very close to what I believe to be the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
Okay.
In terms of for our area. And I got a chance to learn from her. And she taught me pretty much everything I know.
Okay.
And so it was through that experience that I got a chance to see, you know, the nitty gritty of being a representative that's available for anybody that walks up to you and needs help, all the way up to meeting with her with kings and queens, even the president of the United States.
Okay.
So I've been able to go forward and really be in a lot of rooms to see how things get done in our congressional district. And it completely separates me.
Okay.
The other thing is that I also know how to communicate. I know that it is tied to the federal level because with her, we ran an award for one of the best communicators inside of the Congress.
Okay.
Cindy Hoyer gave it to us. And it was because of the work and program that I engineered that we were able to really go forward and communicate to people in the district and across the country.
Okay.
So that was a lot of the things that I did at the federal level, and I look forward to bringing that particularly as a representative.
Okay. All right. So you talked about and I believe this, the importance of understanding that there are federal monies available to help fix a thing, if not several things.
Right.
But we're talking about a lot of problems, a lot of issues.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that there is enough money to fix the things that you are focused on fixing and people just don't know how to access that money? Or are you saying I need to be creative in how I get these dollars to do these things that I say I want to do? Is there enough money, or do you need to be more creative in finding the money?
So it depends on the issue.
Okay,
So for some things, like for example, we haven't had a representative in a long time,
Yeah, 18
4
months.
months, right? And so as a result, we haven't been able to go get our community project funding,
Yeah.
which is federal dollars, basically earmarks that we could use to go for organizations right here in our district.
okay,
So the first order of business is actually going to be to, the day after I'm elected, not even before, like while I'm sworn in, like the day after I'm elected, try to go get with a lot of our community organizations, figure out what exactly it is that we missed out on. Because we got to get our organizations funded, our health programs and all of those things that we really do need.
okay,
I'll be working specifically to go and get those areas of concern. So when I get to the Congress, I can work on that. And it's because I have that experience, I know that that's what's at the utmost important.
okay.
But when it comes to things like make sure Social Security gives you more money,
Mm-hmm,
that's a national program.
okay,
So I'll be working to not only work on other members of Congress, particularly on this issue, but also to raise this as a matter of concern amongst the American people.
mm-hmm,
Which is why I believe that having such a big megaphone at this moment of time is so crucial.
mm-hmm,
Just like how we've been able to inspire change when it comes to gerrymandering Republicans back. Just like how we've been able to inspire change when it comes to her demanding a congressional investigation into FEMA
mm-hmm.
disaster in Central Texas. That's the kind of way we can go forward and push the needle on so many of the different things that we have. Because I think that, you know, it's one thing to be able to talk about an issue, right? And to go put out a press release and
Yeah.
say that, you know, this is what I care about.
Yeah.
But it's another thing to inspire a wave of change that's big enough to actually make something happen.
Yes, sir.
And so we've already shown that we can do that. And I'm ready to get to work to make sure that can happen.
So I hear you on the federal monies, Social Security in particular, also with healthcare. But as you also know, brother, we're dealing with an administration that doesn't seem to be too concerned about the well-being of people,
That's right.
no matter what they look like.
That's right.
So how are you going to get a federal entity that doesn't seem to be too motivated to help anybody on the grassroots level, no matter what they look like? How are you gonna get them to fund things that are federal programs when they are pulling back on all those federal programs?
Well, the biggest thing is that a lot of this has to do with the fact that we don't have control of the House.
Okay,
So I think that the utmost importance is actually to work to make sure you flip the House.
okay.
Because when you then have leverage,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
when you then have leverage and you then have the power of the purse, president can't pass a budget without the House.
Right.
So it's really going forward to make sure that we can win that,
Mhm.
to make sure that we can get the leverage necessary. Because look, if Trump's trying to go and defund, you know, SNAP, the summer lunch program, and
Yeah.
everything that he did
Yeah.
with his last piece of legislation, while we control the House, I'm not voting for a budget that has that.
Okay.
So, and I know that I don't stand alone.
Mhm.
I know there's people like other members of Congress that feel the same way. So, yeah, when we had control, a lot more leverage, that's how we'll be able to say, look, Trump, you want to pass a budget, you're gonna have to fund our program,
Right.
and whether he likes it or not.
What's the when are the midterms?
2026.
2026. Do you know? 'Cause I know the margins are close. Do you know the numbers as it relates to right now in the House, Republicans to Democrats? Do you know what those numbers are? My question, my fundamental question that is flipping. Realistic.
Yes.
Are the numbers there to flip?
Yes, absolutely. Well, it was about a 3-seat margin. It's changed a little bit because we have some vacancies.
Mhm.
But yes, I do believe that because we're up 8 points on the generic ballot,
Okay.
that translates to a resounding victory in the midterms. I think that we've got to make sure that one, because Texas is going to be trying to eliminate a lot of Democratic congressional seats,
Mhm.
that it's going to be important for states like California and New York to go and really dig into these Republicans to make
Right.
sure that they can kick them out.
Yeah.
And when we do that, I believe that we're going to be able to get at least a 5-seat majority, hopefully more. Back in 2018, the first midterms under Trump, we kicked out 41 Republicans. We kicked them out, we sent them to retirement line.
Okay.
And I look forward to inspiring to do something very similar this time.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Guaranteeing healthcare.
Yes,
It's huge.
that's right.
How are you gonna do that?
Well, I think that is long overdue. I think it's time. I think we put up a piece of legislation that goes forward and says that we're going to make healthcare something that's a percentage of your income.
Mm-hmm.
If you want it, look, if you want to have something else, you can do that too. But I believe making it a percentage of your income with no copays, no premiums, nothing like that.
Mhm.
Putting that piece of legislation up, you pay for it by making sure that the wealthiest corporations in America pay a corporate tax that is reflective of something that's competitive with the world.
Yeah,
Instead of right now, the current subsidization of billion-dollar corporations as it stands today. We just passed
Sure.
a $4 trillion
Yeah.
tax cut bill for the richest corporations and
That's
people in
right.
America,
Yeah.
which completely defunds this country.
Mhm.
So I believe making sure that they're paying their fair share, creating a billionaire minimum tax, so that if you are somebody that makes $1 billion a year,
Mhm.
before you can do any kind of these deductions and everything else, you got to pay at least 25% of your income to get that done. Because the
Mhm.
real issue here is that you can make the tax rate whatever it is, but if they are using all these deductions and everything else, these shell companies overseas
Sure.
to go forward and
Yeah.
shield their wealth,
Yeah.
none of it really matters.
Right,
And it means that you pay taxes, I pay taxes, you pay taxes, all of us pay taxes,
right.
and they're getting away with paying nothing.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
because of that, again, because of that federal experience, I know very clearly what the real issue is. Because
Mhm.
it's always, a lot of times, some people that don't have it will talk about, oh, we got to raise the tax rate to this number.
Mhm.
That doesn't matter if they're not shield, or if they're using all these different mechanisms to shield their wealth. So
Right.
a billionaire minimum tax of at least 25% is going to be very important. And then
You're saying
also,
off the top.
huh?
You're saying off the top, 25%.
Yeah, guaranteed. They got to pay at least
Yeah,
25%.
before you start doing whatever you do.
Yeah,
with
whatever.
the shell
Yeah,
games.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
like, because they're supposed to play 39, I mean, effectively 39.7, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's there's some, but they're supposed to be playing
Wow.
at least 37-38%.
Okay.
The issue is that because there's so many boondoggles, you know,
Sure.
they basically get that 37-38% all the way down to nothing.
Yeah.
1%, 2%, whatever it is. So I look forward to fixing that. Also saying that if you have a stock portfolio for those people that make $1 billion in gains,
Mhm.
in profit, there should be a property tax on that.
Mhm.
Because for everybody, or for most people in America, if you own a home, your home is your biggest asset.
Right,
And that has a property tax.
right.
You have to pay a property tax on that. Whether you made money, you lost money, whatever your situation is,
Mhm.
you have to pay a property tax. So all we're saying is, if you make $1 billion in gains, you make $1 billion. It's not even if you lose. If you make $1 billion in gains, you got to pay a property tax on that. And to give a picture of the people that we're talking about, I'm not even talking about LeBron James. I'm not talking about LeBron James. I'm not talking about Rihanna. I'm not talking about like Megan Thee Stallion, Lionel Richie. I'm not talking about those folks.
Okay.
I'm talking about people who make $1 billion a year in gains. That is a very specific group of people. And they must pay, I believe, a property tax on that. And when we do that, it will create revenue in this country that we can use to actually go forward and fund America. And to make sure that we can go and guarantee healthcare, get more dollars for Social Security and everything else.
Given the reality of that absolutely awesome idea coming to fruition, you're going to need some people on your side to vote that way. I'm assuming you are believing that you can sway those votes to go that way, and people would do what's right for the American people. You think that's a doable?
Well, I mean, we saw the creation of Social Security at one point when people thought that it was not possible.
Yeah.
We saw the creation of Medicare and Medicaid when people thought that it was not possible.
Okay.
People thought that the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, was
Yeah.
not possible. We
Sure.
got it done.
Yeah.
When people thought that we could not pass a Voting and Civil Rights Act, we got it done.
Mhm.
So I think that one of the biggest issues in this country is that we've become very pessimistic about what we can do.
Sure.
And I think that the real question that we should be talking about is how we make America more bold.
Mhm.
And we need people that have the audacity and the foresight to say, look, we used to do big things in this country. We
Right.
sent a man to the moon in a very short period of time. So the real question is, how do we create that new era of generation that can go forward and have innovation? And I think that when we are bold with it, and we don't waver, and we don't let all these different special interests or whatever
Yep.
Get in the way of us,
Mhm.
we can do anything in this country. I look forward to doing it.
How bold can we be?
I think we can be very
Yeah,
bold.
I like that. I like that.
Very
I
bold.
have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Some people say you're too arrogant,
Uh-oh.
but guess what?
That's right.
I like that.
Thank you.
Because Democrats have been too complacent.
That's right.
We need them to come out fighting strong like the Republicans do.
That's right.
and then we can win.
That's right. We gotta have a spine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you know what? I think that's what we need. I think we need really some confidence, because you know what? I remember a lot of people used to say that Congresswoman Jackson Lee was too arrogant. I remember when they used to say that. But you know what wasn't arrogant? The billions of dollars that she brought for our community.
The
year
results.
after year that got stuff done.
Right.
Exactly, and not only the 18th
That's right.
district.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right. You know, the Congresswoman always had her haters. You know, but the Congresswoman's results showed for themselves, and that's why for year after year after year, the people kept on sending her back. And I think that's what we need.
I have a
Amen.
quick question.
Well,
As far as the Medicare, Medicaid delay.
Yeah.
Can you go into detail about that?
Yeah. So this, you're talking about this big bill, right? Yes. The way they did it was the Medicaid cuts that they have in it are delayed until effectively 2026, 2027. And they did this for a very particular reason. They know that they're about to get destroyed in the midterms. They know they're going to get destroyed in 2028.
Yep.
And they did this back when Trump's first term, when they passed Trump tax cuts. They extended it long after, and a lot of the defunding stuff that they had in it was under Biden's presidency. And what they did was, because Republicans are just so shameless, they just drowned out everything and just said, "Oh no, Biden fault. Biden fault. Anything happened in America, Biden fault.
Fake
Biden
news.
fault." Yep, fake news, right? And if you called them out for it, they said fake news. But that's why the real issue is, I'm just gonna be honest, we got a lot of people in Congress that sometimes buy Republican BS.
Sure.
And they repeat their talking points. And we gotta be able to go get somebody that can stop just being lazy, you know, with these talking points per se, and just push back on it. You know, because you know, one of the things that I did that really got me a lot of attention on social media was I was very big for going into Republican TikTok lives. And Republican TikTok lives are like 8 Republicans versus 1 Democrat, right?
Okay.
And I would take them all on. And I was willing to go forward and do that and to show people just how little they knew about anything. And I think that's the same type of audacity that we're going to need to go really push back against a lot of that stuff to make sure that people know what's going on. So yeah, these Medicare, Medicaid cuts are going to be drastic. You're talking about probably about $1 trillion. It was about 850 billion.
Yes, sir.
And then they got pushed up in the Senate version to about 1.1 trillion. So I think the real question, because we do have some time, is figuring out how much leverage we can use when we control the House to cancel that.
Right.
That's what I'm going to be looking for, because it is delayed. I want to be able to be a voice that can say, look, you're going to put this money back, Trump. You're going to put this money back. Or we just going to that's just how it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we've got to be able to use leverage, because the one thing that I do know is that regardless of what Trump tries to do, the people of the district are going to respect someone in Washington, D.C. that says, no, I'm not going to just continue to allow this BS to happen, particularly with these Medicare, Medicaid cuts. And if we have to vote against whatever we need to make that happen, I'll make sure I have the spine to get that done.
Yeah.
Sorry, one other question, one last question. The redistricting,
Yes.
9 and 18, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, so it's ridiculous, you know, and that's why I think that, you know, I've seen a lot of folks that have basically have written letters saying that they're mad about it, right? They're disappointed. But I think that the real question that we should be asking is, what do we do?
Right.
And so that's why I think it's important that states like California do what I've called Operation Get Back, which is to gerrymander Republicans out of their seats in California. The same thing in New York. Why is that important? Because those Republicans are going to get real nervous at that point if they realize that they're going to be down 11, 12, 15, 17 seats.
Yeah.
They're going to be very nervous to go touch the 18 if they know in California they're going to lose a couple others as well.
And the beauty of that is that it's possible.
It's very
If
possible.
you got the right Democrat leadership in that state.
That's
Very
right.
possible.
Well, Gavin Newsom is not somebody that can be pushed around by those people.
Yeah.
And so he's looking for a war. And so because of that, he's already talked about, for example, the 18th district and everything else in terms of why he wants to gerrymander Republicans to make sure he can protect the district. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so I think that we've got to be able to work with folks like him. Then we've got to be able to work with folks like Kathy Hochul in Florida. We've got to be able to work with folks like J.B. Pritzker in Illinois and make sure they can do that. So I actually am more focused on trying to fix it. Because I think that President Obama said a couple of days ago that he wants the Democratic Party to do less whining and do more action.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And I'm
It
not.
does, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it does. And so
Yes,
we
sir.
do.
We love to complain.
we love to complain.
Yes.
You see all these statements about how sad and mad people are about
Right.
these things.
And disappointed.
And disappointed. I mean, I get so sick of reading
Like they
the
give a
word-
damn about your disappointment.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm telling you, go look at some of these statements. I mean, I love a lot of these guys, right? But like, they're just like, I'm disappointed, I'm sad. I'm like, pick ourselves up.
Right.
We're not powerless. We have power in this situation,
Yeah.
and it's time to use it. You know, it's almost like people are upset that we finally have to use our power.
Right.
You know, and then so I say, you know, look, I tell you, the donor class don't like it because they don't like controversy, right? So the big donors or whatever, the people that work in the big buildings downtown and everything else, they don't like controversy. They're scared of their own shadow. But the difference is that for our campaign, we're funded by thousands of regular people giving an average of $16.
Right.
So because of that, I don't really give a rat's tail about what the big donors per se say downtown. I could care less. It's about fighting for the people of the district. And ultimately, we need a party that has a spine, is not afraid of these Republicans in any way, stretch.
I wanna I'm not come back on that question about needing a spine.
Yeah.
So I'm coming from somebody with a deep roots in agriculture. 2020, I purchased my first about 26 acres of land at about like 24 and start agriculture on it. Inside the city, I've acquired over 30 acres of land in order to provide community gardens to the area. Following your local accomplishments, given that food is a lifelong necessity from cradle to grave, and increasingly unaffordable, and a driver of the health crisis, of course, if we eat that food, we get sick a lot. Cutting into what you were speaking about with the healthcare crisis. I'm prioritizing this issue for myself and for everybody in Houston as regards to eating cleaner in order to do more health. Unlike long-term infrastructure projects like flood control, like rebuilding roadways, like doing a bunch of stuff that takes years and millions of dollars to get into action. How are you looking at the issue of food deserts in the city? How are you looking in terms of providing better food for individuals and the way that will then help your procedure for the more beneficial health outcomes when it comes to cutting healthcare costs?
Good question.
That's a great question. First of all, I'm glad of the work that you do because I think it's very important.
Yep.
One, I believe to make sure we have more tax incentives to make sure we can have grocery stores inside of our community. It was something that we worked on with Congresswoman Jackson Lee for a while. Couldn't get that across the finish line, but I look forward to actually bringing that and making that a big topic of conversation. I think it's very important. Also making sure we have more federal dollars, particularly for grants and incentives for community gardens. I do think it's very important. I will say that I think it's really interesting that a lot of Republicans really spend a lot of time talking about make America healthy again, right? But they're oftentimes looking to defund the very program that feed our kids.
Yeah.
And helps them get access to clean food. So I want to ask you, I guess, question, what would help you in this instance with your situation? What would you like to see?
Well, currently I've been trying to get in contact with the Houston city government, mayor's office and everybody else regarding food insecurity.
Yes.
Houston has a food insecurity board.
Yes.
That has not been delivering the deliverables progress. I'm currently working in Sunnyside and Acres Home, which are both food deserts, and being able to structure community gardens. With the ineptness of the Board of Food Insecurity and the not getting the response back from the city government.
Yes.
It's been placed upon the civilians of the city. With my organization, Happy Camper, and the other farmers that we work with, I think we have over 500 land. We're needing individuals in the city, because we can do what we can as civilians, but it won't have a major impact without individuals from the city, elected officials, individuals like that. Being able to organize with the city, being able to at least get something on the docket to where these local community farms are able to market themselves, are able to get the wider public known that, hey, we have access to local foods. We have access to different programs for local foods. I'm not seeing that message from anybody inside the city, despite being one of the largest cities in America and also having, I think it's like 60% of the city is declared a food destination.
That's right.
60%?
Yes.
That's right.
Jesus Christ.
I actually knew that because
Wow.
I did a project actually in high school, or not high school, in college. It was basically trying to figure out how long it would take a kid to walk, to find an apple.
Yeah,
Very difficult,
yeah.
right? And so ultimately, I want to commit to creating our own federal board that we can invite you to, so we can work to make sure that there's federal grants available. We can help you apply for those things. Want to elevate that issue. I want to make sure that we're talking about it because I do think it's very important.
Because that's where I'm seeing most of the ability to catch. Federal takes a very long time. We can have food out within the next 90 days. And that's going to be beneficial for the individuals that you're wanting to vote for you, the individuals in the rest of the city. Like I said, it's a much smaller project than federal infrastructure in general. Because we don't need that much infrastructure. What we do need though is the ability for individuals in the city to recognize that they have other options other than HEB, other than Walmart.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, one of the things I can say is that I'll commit to working also with our local electeds. I can talk to council members. I can certainly do that, but I'll also, because we do have almost 1 million followers across all platforms, I can make sure that we can talk about
Locally?
that.
Locally?
Not 1 million locally.
Okay.
We've got a lot of followers, hundreds of thousands locally.
Okay.
And I can talk about
Mhm.
the importance of this issue and some of the work. So if you give Josh your information, we can definitely follow up with you on that.
Yeah, and Josh will reply in 2 or 3 days. Okay, good question, Shaka, good question. So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We as Democrats
Yes.
get distracted
Yeah.
by anything that they hear on the news.
That's right.
Right now, they're distracted about the Obama's possible divorce.
I know.
Already?
Ain't none of your business. Handle your business that you know needs handling.
I agree. I think that is why I really stay focused on the issues that actually matter.
Yeah,
You know, talking about people's money, how we can make people have more money,
Yeah.
how we can make America more affordable,
Yeah.
what we can do, to really beat back against this crazy Republican leadership, right? I think that's how we gotta stay focused instead of always getting, like you said, distracted by everything else. Like, remember when Trump renamed the Gulf of Mexico
go for America, yeah.
and everybody was freaking out about it? At the end of the day, I mean, it's an ocean.
Yeah,
It's a stupid name change, but at the end of the day, there's nothing we can do. So I'd rather be more focused on Trump defunded SNAP.
things that
He
matter.
took money out of the pocket.
Right.
He got rid of some lunch. Like, he did so many of these things. And we talking about an ocean.
Right.
Like, it don't make any sense. And so that's why we got to just stay focused. We can't let these stupid things come and distract us.
So, do you think that the level of complacency amongst the Democrat Party and the lack of backbonedness, do you think that's a generational thing in that we know that our younger people seem to be a bit more fiery than the older people? So you don't think it's generational? Why do you think that is then if it's not just
No,
old people
but-
to move aside?
No, well, it depends on the person, but I think that Congresswoman Jackson Lee was a very fiery person.
Yeah, but she was a raider, obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
As it relates to the fire. she was a raider.
well, look at Al Green. Al Green was the only one who had the audacity to stand up in Congress and say, "I'm sick of this." Right?
Okay.
He's 78 years old.
Yeah.
Maxine Waters. So many others. So I don't think it's a generational thing. I think it's a person by person.
Okay.
But what I will say is that we are in a fight right now of fight versus flight,
Mm-hmm.
in which some people want to fly away at Trump's crazy rage. Other people want to go run into the fire.
Right.
And so I want to be a part of the folks in Congress that are running towards that fire and ready to fight fire with fire. No matter how old the person is, and I'll work with anybody to get that done.
Okay. You said earlier that you wanted to do what you can to wipe out medical debt.
Mhm.
How could you make that possible? How's that possible?
Well, we can do it. Illinois has done a program where they have eliminated $10,000 of medical debt. Want to wipe the whole thing out in its entirety. It's
Okay.
actually really a lot more cost effective than you think,
Mhm.
because we can buy debt from debt collectors for pennies on the dollar effectively, for less than $100 billion total.
Okay.
And again, I just want to remind everybody, we just passed $4 trillion of tax cuts for the richest people
Right.
in America.
Right.
It makes no sense.
Good
And
point.
so I think that it is wild that every time it comes for investing in our people, in
Mhm.
our country,
Yeah.
these bozos want to go and give every reason why
Can't find the money.
They can't find the money for it. They
Right.
can find the money for Trump to go and fly around and do all this crazy stuff and,
Yeah.
and all these other places. So I'm interested in investing in America, and I believe that wiping out medical debt is a good way to do that.
I agree. I agree.
How are you going to bring people to your arena? The ones that voted for Trump, whether it be black, brown, or whoever,
Absolutely.
they listened and they just went along with what Trump had to say. And he told them exactly what he was going to do.
That's right.
And they went and
Yes,
they
he did.
voted for that crazy.
That's right.
That's a good question.
Well, to be honest with you, I think it's through going into Republican spaces,
Mhm.
whether that's Fox News, podcast, whatever it is, going up there and giving them the business.
Yeah.
I think just telling the truth.
Yeah.
You know, which actually interesting. We do have a nightly TikTok town hall. A nightly TikTok town hall.
A nightly TikTok town hall.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we get 15,000 people a night.
Okay.
And so that's like filling up Toyota Center basically
Sure,
every single
yeah.
night to go and talk about the issues of the day.
Mhm.
And
What time is that?
11 o'clock
11 o'clock.
Central.
Okay.
PM.
And how do we find you on TikTok?
Isaiah R. Martin.
Isaiah R.
Martin.
That's for Richard.
Isaiah R. Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Yeah.
I thought it was Richard. That's what Josh told me.
No,
Information.
yes.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's what I'm asking because it's on camera. Yeah, because I think if you're getting that many people on TikTok, we want to plug in to see what's what.
Yeah,
And I don't know if anybody's doing that, Isaiah, to be honest.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
I mean, because we like I said, we fill up basically a Toyota Center size crowd
Yeah.
every single night
Yeah.
talking about these issues. And so, I mean, it's almost like doing a rally every single night. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's a lot of people, bro.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
But what I will say from that is that we've had so many conversations where we've had some people that voted for Trump that also say they like our stuff.
Yeah.
And I was very confused by this because I always called Trump stupid, orange man, and everything else. And I was like, why is that? And then I saw an article that the guy who just won the mayoral election in New York, Zoran Mamdani,
Mm-hmm.
he had the same thing.
Yeah.
Apparently he had a lot of people that voted for Trump that voted for him.
Right.
And so ultimately, I think that there was a lot of people that just got caught up in the BS.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they voted for him for some false promises they believe. And ultimately, they care about their money. And so I think when we make that our focus, and we talk about how we're going to help save people money by guaranteeing childcare, healthcare, and everything
Yeah.
else, I think we can win back a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe it was just a fluke,
Yeah.
but Zoran proved, I guess that's not the case.
Yeah. But Zora ran as an independent. You think that matters?
No, he didn't. He was a Democrat.
I think he was independent.
No,
I'm
he was a
sure.
Democrat.
You sure?
I promise you he was a Democrat.
Oh, but just in price, he was independent.
I guarantee he was a Democrat.
All right. I'm looking at that right now.
It's not only coming for the brown people right now.
That's right.
Shit, Trump don't care about nobody.
Illegal immigrants coming for us.
That's right. Look at the bill they just did in Alabama. They have a bill they introduced to try to go and ship people, black people, to foreign countries to go be in prison. I mean, it's crazy. So, I mean, you know, that's what we're up against right now. We got a lot of
Do you think he's doing all of that by himself? Because I do
No.
not think that he's smart enough to
No.
do that by himself.
No.
He's got some great backers somewhere.
Well, he's got this idiot named Stephen Miller, who is basically like his, like, I mean, he looks like a pencil. I mean, he's just a weird, crazy guy. But this guy, Stephen Miller, is the one who's the architect of all of this insanity that Trump does. And he's the one that writes all this stuff up. It's crazy.
Yeah, and you are correct, brother. He's a Democrat. The Democrat socialist thing is what threw me off. I thought, which just had me thinking he wasn't independent, but you're almost certainly correct. Thank you for that. I like what you said about the high schools and pushing back on the takeover and the voucher system. I am 54 years old. When I graduated high school, we graduated with several trades. you could learn how to weld, how to fix cars, be an electrician. I learned how to type. I'm from South Carolina, so I learned how to fish. I fired my first firearm in hunting and boating safety in high school. That was the name of the course. So bringing the trades back to high school is a big deal for a lot of reasons. What is going to be your 1, 2, 3 step approach to making that a reality?
Well, we gotta put a big bill up that has federal grant funding for that, particularly for our school districts. As well as community colleges, and so I'll be working, get that bill introduced, get that through the floor and get it done. I mean, I'm not sure if this will happen during Trump years, because obviously felon will not do anything to help America in no way, shape, or form. But I do think that it's important that when we win the presidency back in 2028, that we do not let this go away. We've got to make this at the top of the conversation. Because the other thing is that I'm very insistent on making sure that America does not just go back to status quo. Our agenda in 2028 is not to just go back to the way things were under the Biden years.
Yep.
We got to go further. Got to make this country work for everybody in a stronger way. We did a lot of good work under President Biden, but I think that even President Biden would tell you that the work never stops. And so our mission cannot just be to go back to the way things used to be. It is to go further than we ever have been. And I think that that's what my agenda will be.
Okay.
You were speaking just now. The squeaky wheel gets the attention.
That's right.
So keep squeaking.
So I love the fact that you got into politics because you got pissed off. About something that happened, because that's usually how it happens. We have some personal experiences with something, and we're like, this is some crap. What can I do? So the fact that you were able to turn the football stadium at U of H into a polling spot, what did that process look like, and how long did it take for you to do that?
Took about maybe 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
Maybe, probably, maybe not that long.
Mhm.
Effectively, I learned very quickly as a student at the University of Houston, as a student, you don't have any power.
As a student, you don't have any power.
No, you have no power
Okay.
because of an individual. So what my strategy was really, for a long time, students, or a lot of students, would just kind of like say they want stuff and administration would say yes or no. They weren't gonna say yes. So what we did was
They were not going to say yes.
No,
Okay.
they weren't. And
Okay.
so we got to work with people like Senator Boris Miles,
Mm-hmm.
who worked with us on this issue. We worked with Congresswoman Jackson Lee, Mayor Turner, and they're the ones who then worked to raise this issue to the administration,
Okay.
which they happily obliged them.
Right.
Funny
how that worked. Huh?
Absolutely. And then it worked. So we were able to go get that thing set up. It would not have been possible without Senator Miles, Congresswoman Jackson Lee, and Mayor Turner. Because they were really the ones, whenever I would have an issue, I would leave and I would call them and they would call me back and they would say, okay, Congresswoman Jackson Lee showed up one day, Senator Miles pulled up, parked his car in the middle of the student center, and said, hey, what's going on? Well, why is this not happening?
Yeah.
And they got it done. So, I got to learn at a very young age on how to work with people to get things done.
Right.
Especially people who have far more power than what I have.
Sure.
I think it was very important.
Yeah. Amen. Good segue to my next question. I was on the drive up. I was telling this Fontenot and Brother Will. I don't think Shock was in the car yet. That I had been having Project 2025 events both on and offline since last February, trying to let people know what was coming. They're not playing games with you, blah blah blah. Surprise, surprise, I was right. But people don't always listen. So it is absolutely awesome that you do what you do online. My question is, how can we get more people to not, in particular your generation, to not just know what's happening, but to get involved with what's happening? How can we do that?
I think it's by meeting them online and talking to them about the issues.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, the modern day form of like pressure campaigns per se has really turned into people calling representatives, tagging them on social media posts. It's a new form of protest per se.
Okay.
And I think that those type of ways of finding additional ways for people to get involved, I think are gonna be very effective for the future. I
Okay,
think showing up places, always being able to communicate to people,
yeah,
is really a big part of it.
and being willing to show up.
And being willing
Yes,
to
sir.
show up
Yes, sir.
and show up anywhere. You know, I'm always the kind of person, I don't care if it's a hostile room, I don't care what it is, I don't mind,
Yeah.
you know? Maybe it's a little of that arrogance you speak about,
Going to that line, deep.
you know, but I like it.
Yeah.
And I'm always feel very confident in no matter what situation I'm in, and I think we just gotta continue that
Yeah.
push.
Hey, what kind of response and feedback have you gotten from people who show up for your online stuff? Are they appreciative? Are they mad at you? Are they like, you good luck, you too young? I mean, what's been the overall response to your online?
Depends on who you ask.
Okay. In general, overall.
I mean, the Democrats love it,
Sure.
independents love it,
Okay.
some Republicans love it.
Okay.
Most Republicans hate it,
Yeah.
and that's okay with me.
Yeah. But that's a good thing.
That's right.
Yeah, because you're
That's
not gonna make everybody happy.
You know what? I don't really care about Republican tiers on
Sure.
certain
They
things.
don't care about yours either. Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir.
I really don't care about theirs, and so because of that, that audacity, there's a lot of people that really, really hate my guts,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's great,
Right.
you know, and we got, that's right, because it's likewise. That's right. Absolutely. You know, it's the feelings are mutual, you know what I'm saying? So, I think that we've got to make sure that we got people that have the spine to tolerate that.
Mhm.
A lot of times, you guys know, you know, Republicans start getting mad, people were quick to apologize to them or whatever, but they
100%,
never
yeah.
say anything.
Yes,
for
sir.
so, screw that.
Yeah.
It's my mentality.
I have a question. With so many people running for the 18th
Yeah.
Congressional District, isn't it about time that some of you back off because they don't stand a chance in hell?
Good question. Response, no.
Hey,
Yeah. Man.
Answer
Yeah, Isaiah.
And, you know, you're not wrong. I don't disagree with you. But here's what I will say. I don't think that we're gonna have 30 people on the ballot, you know, because when it comes time to paying that $4,000, you know,
Sure.
application fee, I don't think that, you know, you're gonna have too many of them that are gonna do that. But the
Right.
thing is that I look forward to compete. You know, I used to play sports back in school.
What sport you play?
I played golf, I played basketball,
Okay.
I played a lot of stuff.
Hold on, Josh, was he good at any of those sports? Okay, all right. You an active brother, you tell me the
You
truth.
see, look,
That's he's right.
I give you the truth.
Of course not, of course not. That's
You
ridiculous.
see, you know what's crazy about it? I was actually really short growing up. I was 4'11" as a freshman in high school.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
Wow.
and so I was always a shooter, but I had no size,
Yeah.
right? So I didn't get tall until like I got older.
Okay.
And so I always joke that, man, if I would have known I wasn't this tall, man, I would have kept with it.
Yeah.
But and who knows? I probably wouldn't even be here, right? I'd probably be playing basketball. So
Very possible, yes, sir.
anyways, but in any event, yeah, I think that we've got to be able to we have a spine right now. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Back to this question. It was said that the actual count of everyone that's running actually won't come out until after the financial report. Is that?
No, I mean, it's not going to come out to the filing deadline,
Which is when? Is it early September, yes?
September, something like
Okay.
that. I mean, because that's really when, because again, anybody can file,
Mm-hmm.
but to be on the ballot, you either got to pay $4,000 or get signatures. And so I don't see 30 people paying for it.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
it doesn't matter how much money you raise.
how much, if you're willing to put it on there.
Oh,
So if you're willing to spend $4,000 to be on the ballot, then you can be on the ballot. But in my current thing, because of the financial, I think that might be what they're talking about. Because of the financial reports,
Mhm.
you'll see how many of them actually have $4,000.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't really see that to be a thing. But
Those are both good questions that would segue to my question. I recently learned how to look up a person's fundraising, how much they've raised.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Menifee is at the top. Right behind him is Sister Amanda. Then there's a big gap with you in third. My question is, are you concerned about, well, I take that back, given the new information, you're now fourth. As far as those that applied.
What we
Yeah.
talking about? I ain't for-
Robert Slater has, he's up there with the top, with
You know what?
Christian, according to what we saw online, yes. It could be wrong, but that's what we saw.
Yeah.
So I'm just letting you know. It was surprising to me because it wasn't there last week. I don't know. I'm just saying, based on the website, brother, that's what it looks like.
I just talked to Rob Slater not so long ago. He told me he raised $5,000. So
Maybe he lied to you.
maybe he did.
Yeah. So based on what we saw online,
Hey.
somebody's lying. But anyway, my question is,
Man.
are you concerned with how much you've raised and how much these other people have raised? Because there's such a big gap in between the two.
Congresswoman Jackson Lee raised and spent $250,000 for her last campaign for the United States Congress.
Yeah, but she had a name
Well, but
at that point.
that's I'm getting to that point. And
Okay.
so for us, we raise money differently.
Mm-hmm.
So for a lot of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
They go, they know a lot of rich people, they go and they give money, $3,500 checks, right?
Okay.
Our campaign is funded by regular people.
Yeah.
And what they can.
Which is better actually.
Well, yeah, over time.
Yeah, over time,
Takes
yes, sir.
And so what's happened is we raised about $400,000. You combine what we've currently done and some stuff like that,
Okay.
about 428. And just recently, in our yesterday, we raised $16,000 in one day from an average of $16 a person.
Okay.
That's our second day over $10,000 over the last 7 days.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is people are finding out about the work that we're doing, the momentum that we're doing.
Mhm.
You see, anybody can go call the people in River Oaks
Sure.
and say, hey, look, write me a check or whatever.
Mhm.
But what's making this campaign more possible is that it's regular people buying in,
Right.
people giving dollars off of their Social Security checks.
Mhm.
It's regular people that are going in, chipping in an hour's worth of work
Yeah.
to go forward because they believe in what we're trying to do. So yes, we are going to catch up to everybody else.
Yep.
And it's only a matter of time. And when we have that money, it's not about just, siphoning it off to the big consultants and everything else. It's about making sure we're using that money to communicate.
Sure.
And I think what our campaign shows and the thousands of people that support us is that we have regular people supporting our campaign. It's just the big special interests that tell you what to fight for, what you can't fight for,
Right.
and everything else.
That's right. Good answer. Good answer. Ms. Faulkner?
I'm gonna clip it here for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Housing,
That's right.
housing is very important.
Yeah,
If you don't have a house
that's right.
with a roof over your head, you're kind of lost.
That's right.
Now, I know Congresswoman and Sylvester County spoke to me personally about the issues. This city is corrupt.
Yeah.
Even that mayor is corrupt
Agreed.
because and this is personal, I have an issue with the house that they built for me with cracks in the ceiling, cracks in the wall.
Wow.
He told me when I got in his space, I don't know anything about your issue.
Mm.
I said, yes, you do, because Senator, my house sent it directly.
Right.
Oh, I know you don't need your email, and I know that when you're in that position,
Right.
you delegate,
Right.
but you should know about top concerns when you're paying out good money to builders who do substandard building,
Subpart, right.
you know?
Right.
What are you going to do with that?
Hmm.
Are you going to call HUD and tell them to watch how they're spending federal money? Because I paid my taxes
You sure
the
did.
whole time I was working,
Right.
but I don't want you spending my tax money
I'm
on
sorry.
somebody like that.
I agree. And that's why, like for me, what makes me really different is that all those big groups or whatever that are funding, because at the end of the day, a lot of those people fund the contributions of so many of the people that run for office and all that. That's the difference.
Mhm.
I'm accountable to none of them. I have no accountability to those rich folks.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, that's why I can go forward and advocate to HUD on that issue. But I can also do more than that. When Congresswoman Jackson Lee would have a problem, and stuff wouldn't be right, she would show up.
Mm-hmm.
She would just show up and say, I need you to get this right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not above being a member of Congress
Sure.
and walking up in the city hall and say, what's going on with this? And if they don't want to answer me, I know how to show up to public session.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to go show up to public session. I know how to go get the TV cameras right there behind me. I'm not scared of these people.
Yeah.
And I think that we need somebody that's not afraid when it comes to advocating for us. So yes, I will absolutely go take up that mantle.
Good, good.
Awesome.
Because when I met him face to face, I went and I spoke to City Hall on the public comment. He jumped and he looked at me, oh, you're the one. No, I'm not afraid to come up in your face
Come on.
because you're not above me,
That's right.
literally speaking.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Absolutely. I
Amen.
agree.
Okay, we got to wrap this thing up because getting crowded
That
around.
was my last question.
Oh, I'm gonna have two. Before I ask these last two, which are closing questions, does anybody else have a question for Brother Isaiah? Everybody good?
What are we doing about poverty and crime? Because we know that they're interchangeable. And I'm running for Texas House District 139.
Yes, she is.
And we know for facts that 25% of that district is literally in poverty. When you go through these neighborhoods and you're walking on these sidewalks, you're seeing people, women, children, men, veterans, who are laying on these sidewalks, who are under these trees. What are we doing about these two things? We know since 2004, crime literally in just Houston alone has went up 5%. What are we doing about poverty and crime?
Good question, Dominique.
So for one, I think Sylvester Turner did a really good thing called Housing First. It was something that they used to get a lot of people that were homeless, particularly off of our streets. And so it's what allowed people to go get access to housing without having to go and have to do a drug test before they do it. Now, for some people, that might sound crazy, but it
Yeah.
actually worked.
Yeah.
Because it just so happens that when you help people get a roof over their head, they're willing to go forward and get everything else fixed after that.
Yeah.
And when you look at the results of that program, more than 87% of the people after the first year that they did this were completely self-sufficient afterwards. It was completely revolutionary.
Mm.
So much so that Karen Bass from LA came here to go and learn to see what we were doing. People from Las Vegas, people from Denver
Mhm.
came to come to see the work that we were doing.
Is that program still up and running?
Heck no.
Oh.
I was about to say it
No.
can be.
No, it's not.
Just walk around.
No, I was gonna ask, if you say yeah, I was gonna say, well, what
Yeah,
happened?
no,
So, yeah, so what
no,
happened?
so that's my answer is that no, it didn't continue because we got new leadership City Hall.
Oh,
that decided to do whatever the heck
Okay.
they decided to do.
okay.
And I remember, because I live downtown. And so I see this issue every day.
Yeah.
And so I remember when I started, because I remember walking down the street
Mm-hmm.
when Mayor Turner was in office. I was like, there really wasn't that many folks downtown. I mean, because I would see, I live kind of around a lot of them where they congregate, and
Yeah.
they weren't there anymore. And I would tell the mayor, I was like, you did a pretty good job on this.
Yeah.
And after he left office, I remember calling him about 6 months, 7 months later. And I said, Mayor, I guess he wasn't congressman at that point, but I was like, Mayor, am I going crazy? But it seems like the numbers are starting to pick back up. And he was like, they are.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? And he told me personally that it was because they had played some shenanigans with the funding and all that stuff. Because I know for a fact I wasn't crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact those numbers picked back up.
Yeah.
Now the city will tell you all these different things, claim this.
Now, I think, was that federal money or city money?
It was a combination. It
Okay.
was a combination of federal money, some state dollars, and then also some local companies were also putting some dollars together because they understood that people were more willing to come downtown when they had it safe.
Right.
And
Then there was that issue. Yeah. Yeah.
When was the time frame for this?
when I asked Mayor Turner about this,
Between stopping or seeing the less and less people and it picking back up? What was the
So-
start to end time frame?
so I want to say 2024 was he left office 2024, and so I would say probably it started to pick up maybe March or April of that year. I would say that it started that when I noticed it was a lot better was maybe 2020 late 2022 2023 when I saw it be better at least 'cause I've lived downtown for about 6 years.
Okay.
And so after COVID, it was kind of crazy, and then it got low. I think 2022, 2023. I mean, don't quote me, but I think that's about the rough estimate. But to say everything, to give you a solution, because that's what you asked, I think that one, we have to make sure that We're making this a priority of the federal government to fund these type of things. I think Housing First should be a nationwide policy.
Yep.
That we are funding and giving funding directly to cities and counties so they can go forward and do this type of thing. I do believe in, like, for example, making community colleges and all these things tuition free. Now, why is that important? We just got, for example, a really big hydrogen production plant inside of our area. It's called High Velocity. And they're gonna be doing this thing called a hydrogen hub. Now,
How you doing with?
hub.
Okay.
It's gonna create 40,000 jobs for our area. The issue is that we don't have the training structure to go forward and get the people necessary to go do those jobs, to train the people that we have here. So what are they doing? They're getting people from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Getting people from California. Getting
Yeah.
people from all these places when we got people in the 18 that can do these jobs. And these are gonna be good, high paying jobs that will be here for a very long time.
Yeah.
So that's why I support making sure that we can get a training structure in place to help our people that have graduated from high school, but then also the people as they are coming up, make sure they can get some support as well.
Right, and that goes back to that trade school thing, because everybody ain't going to college. Any-
Also, the last thing, I also support the creation of a side hustle fund.
Oh, wait,
A side hustle fund.
side hustle fund.
Yes, that's what
Okay.
I call it. And side hustle fund is basically a pot of money in which we can give to people to start their first business. So you can go out, get the original necessities that you need, to help you through the permitting process, stuff like that, to get your foot off the ground.
Beautiful.
Let's put this one.
That's awesome. Okay.
So my background is in economics.
Okay.
So with the dealing with poverty, with the dealing with cycles, those are all aspects of issues that result from low productivity. So being able to, just to be able to do things that are they increase productivity and increase with the individuals able to produce locally, it will solve a lot of issues in regards to being able to poverty, funding, housing, this and that. And with me, everything circles back. I know training an individual to do a hydrogen hub is a lengthy process. It takes, again, a long amount of time. When we're looking at the aspect of food, we're dealing with a 60 to 90-day turnaround. Even if that individual does not have enough skills to get in there and produce by themselves, they're working with individuals. So a lot of issues can be solved with just focusing in around food, being able to make sure the individuals have a cheap, easy, nutritious, affordable food. And then you start to see the benefits from having that excess productivity, because food is energy.
That's right.
If food is energy, now you're talking about getting the population back to a standard in which they can more comfortably go to work, more comfortably pay their bills, more comfortably do things because they don't have to worry about where their food is coming.
I agree with you. I think you're 100% right. And that's why I want to work with you on that issue. Make sure people have some good food.
Amen. Last two questions, brother. Tell the people why voting for you is the best vote they can make for the 18th.
Well, because I'm focused on making your life better. I think a lot of times you see folks that get elected into office, and then you wonder what the heck happened to them. They changed.
That happens.
Yeah.
Surely people don't disappear.
Happens, right? I know. But it's almost like, where's Waldo? Where'd they go? Right?
Yeah, right.
You see them during election season, you're like, oh
Yeah.
where
Yes,
you?
sir.
We had someone that was the I guess she was a clerk or something, and she didn't show up to work for like 4 years or
Yeah.
something crazy like that. I don't know. Not Tanisha. It was
The former tax assessor.
tax assessor. That's what it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was in office for 4 years and apparently only swiped into the building twice.
Wow.
I don't know what the heck was going on with that situation.
How does that work?
I don't know how that works.
Good work.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Without notifying anybody, huh?
Without notifying.
All right.
And to her credit, it is kind of wild that it took a couple of years for people to figure this out.
Yeah. They don't even know.
I was just like,
It's crazy.
you know,
That's a
Anyway.
broken system right there, I tell you.
yeah. Anyways, so one, I believe in being very visible. And the big thing is that you want to know why a lot of these things people disappear. It's because their donors are really there. And the donor class is very scared.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna be honest. They're very scared. They don't like confrontation. They don't like when you rock the boat too much.
Mhm.
And I'm a rock the boat kind of guy.
Yeah.
I just am. And personally, I think that we are at the point in this country where America is broken. We got to work a lot harder. We got to do a lot more for people.
Yeah.
We got to get this country working for you.
Right.
And so I'm working every single day to make sure that this country can be more affordable for you. And because of the fact that so many people, thousands of folks are chipping into our campaign, we're accountable to nobody.
Mhm.
To nobody. Nobody. I think it's very important. That's how we go, and we have a spine to go and say the housing issue is a problem, no matter how much the developers kick and scream. That's how we go forward, and we go stand up to Republicans on their social media platforms and Fox News and everything else.
Yeah.
Without worrying about the donors saying, are you offending Republicans?
That's right.
That's how you actually go forward and fight for the people. Because I remember Congresswoman Jackson Lee was never somebody who spent that much time around the donor class per se, and that's probably why they created all the different stuff about her as they did.
Yeah.
But you know what? She was effective. She was effective. She got stuff done no matter how much they hated. They'll talk about her behind her back.
Mhm.
But I always know that whenever she would show up, they would stand up straight. They would act right. They would act like, anyways, so the point is that I'm accountable to nobody. I'm more focused on fighting for you instead of the few. And when you send me to the Congress, we get stuff done for you.
Cool. And how can people support you in your effort to get to Congress?
Absolutely. You can go to IsaiahMartin.org, ISAIAHMARTIN.org. And there you can sign up to volunteer, chip into the campaign, do anything you guys can do to help us support us in that mission.
Cool. All right, I'm sorry, Ms. Fano?
Don't do online donations, but I would be happy to contribute something.
Thank you.
It's-
I appreciate you.
I've been active at times.
Oh, yeah. I
All
understand.
right, let's give Brother Isaiah a hand. Thank you very much. Let me wrap this thing up. So before I talk about what I want to talk about with what we got going on, does anybody have any events that they want to talk about? Or is anything happening with you and your organizations? Any? Now, wait, she's thinking about it. Go ahead, trying to find her nerve. Go ahead, bro.
On the 23rd, we are having an IMO event that's Indigenous Microorganism cultivation to teach individuals how to.
Shaka, come up here. So we have camera. You can go. Yeah, you good. Thank you. We love you. All right.
I see.
All right.
Hey, everybody. Shaka from the Happy Camper here. On July 23rd, in South Acres, Houston, Texas, we are doing an IMO event that's Indigenous Microorganisms. We're teaching individuals how to create localized fertilizers. This isn't your Miracle Grow. This isn't your fertilizers that you buy from the store. We're teaching individuals how to cultivate microorganisms in order to have better productivity in their food garden. That's about it.
All right. All right. Okay. So on that note, thank you, Brother Shaka. I do want to share with you guys one of the reasons we do what we do, as I'm always saying, the Grow for Care Alliance is about being the bridge builder between those that are doing the good and those that want that good and or need that good to be done in their lives. So if you guys have been following Thursday Morning Breakfast for a minute, you know that we've been working on an HISD issue for a minute. What the evidence points to there being a cover-up of sexual predation activity at one of our high schools. And we're having an event. We're trying to get the community out Saturday, see you later, Josh. Saturday, July 26th from 11:30 to 1 to maneuver in the community, to knock on doors, to inform the community about what we know, what the evidence shows, and how we can get not only new laws created, but some new policies created within HISD. Because to my surprise, we learned that HISD does not currently have a policy whereby they have to notify parents or guardians that there is an alleged or actual sexual predator on the campus and in the community. They do not have that as a policy right now. That's a problem. It is illegal. It's a felony for an adult employee to solicit a student for sex. The evidence shows that happened, but nothing has happened to that person other than him being fired. That's a problem. So the community needs to know what's going on. The community needs to know the truth. And the community needs to know that the people who are elected, who's supposed to be looking out for you, don't care to look out for you. So we have to step up for ourselves and do our own thing. And we're having this event on the 26th. So if you are interested in helping us get out into the community, let us know. Because my goal is to get 100 people out knocking on doors on that day. If I only get 25 or 30, I'll still be happy because that means that we are on 25 or 30 streets knocking on doors. And this is not something that we're going to do one time. I'm going to try and do it every Saturday moving forward because there's so much that we have to cover. Not just with this one thing and this one issue, but from HISD on down to the principal of the school, the community and the kids were failed. And whatever policies are in place to protect the kids, whatever they are, they didn't work at all. So we got to make sure that.
Issue.
I'm sorry.
Are the parents pushing the issue?
We have a few parents that are with us that are helping us push it, but the problem, Dominique, is that the parents don't know.
No, I'm saying the child that this actually happened to,
No,
are those parents
No.
pushing the actual issue?
they are not. They are not. Well, they are not as far as we know, because we don't know who they are. They were never, as a matter of fact, the only parents that were notified were the parents of that particular student. And that is okay, but because the school or the school district never took time to find out if there were other victims, we don't know how many victims there were. We don't know how many parents should have been notified that weren't notified because the school didn't take time to find out if there were other victims. And I refuse to believe that a predator is only going to prey one time. We only talk about what we can prove. The rumors are far worse than what we can prove. So I believe some of the rumors because it matches what we can prove. So one of the reasons we're getting out into the community is that there are other victims. We know that. We got to find them. We believe that parents would love to support this effort. We got to find them. We know that information was sent from the high school to HISD to TEA, which is state level, and TEA placed this person on the do not hire registry, says he's under investigation for having a relationship with a minor, but they didn't give that information to the DA. So if the evidence was enough to get him fired and placed on the do not hire registry, why was it not enough to get him prosecuted and tried as committing a felony, trying to have sex with a minor? So there are a lot of things. We went to HPD twice. HPD said they didn't have any information on it. But when we filed the Freedom of Information Act, the document says HPD was notified. Somebody lying. And there are a lot of somebodies that's lying. The current city council person, Carolyn Shabazz of District D, she said she heard a rumor that something was that she heard a rumor and took a step back because the rumor was bad. The last picture we can find of her with him was in September.
What do you mean took a step back?
They were working together up until that point.
So
And
she took a step back off.
yeah, she said, I'm not gonna work with him anymore because I heard this rumor. Which I said to her, I said, kudos to you, because she said that when I went to city council. But at that point, she didn't do anything to notify the parents, notify the community, to find the other kids, to have some sex. She didn't do anything.
That is the problem.
That is the problem. And then on top of that, the principal didn't do anything either. So I'm saying the community was failed as a whole. And if we, those who are in the community and care about the kids, if we don't do something, then the system is going to continue to fail our children, which of course we can't. So that's why we're having this event on the 26th, and that's why we're going to continue to push this, because this is not just about one sexual predator. This particular predator is a small fish in the grand scheme of things. This is a system-wide issue that failed the Worthing High School community, and as far as I'm concerned, every kid that's connected, because this person's still out in the community doing things, and we got to stop that. A predator doesn't stop preying unless they're motivated to stop preying. But of course, that doesn't happen. Say that again. I didn't hear you.
And he pops up, they show his face proudly like.
Yeah, has no shame at all. And if he was smart, he'd go crawl under a rock.
Okay,
You know.
superintendent.
No, he is on our list of contact because, and what's funny, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna go, Dominique, the Freedom of Information Act document that it is a summary of information that clearly states what he did. The page before that has Mike Miles' signature on it. So it's not like he didn't know. So that's why we were saying from day one, either a lot of people are incompetent or somebody's trying to sweep it under the rug or protect him. And that's why it's bigger than this one person. It's a problem. And we're always coming across other school districts in Texas that are prosecuting people for doing the exact same thing, but for whatever reason, HISD ain't about that life. So we gotta motivate them, we gotta motivate our people to get organized, to get them out of office, because they obviously don't care about our kids. So that's why we're having this event, that's why we're gonna continue to do it, because it's the problem. So on that note, thank you guys for being here for Thursday Morning Breakfast. We'll see you next week. Take care. God bless.